Special edition rolls on from the start in Frisco straight into the final month of the regular season. Week 16 is here as the Dallas Cowboys are at 10-4 and coming off a loss against the Buffalo Bills. Alongside Isaiah Stanback and Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Glad you're with us. 31-10 was the final score up in Orchard Park, New York, as the Cowboys fall for just the fourth time on the 2023 season. It was a dominant loss in favor of the Bills, but Isaiah, based off of what you've seen in your study after the fact, has your confidence wavered at all in this Cowboys team?
I think my confidence remains where it has been the entire time, and that really, especially in regards to the running defense. When you look at the running defense, this team has been relatively consistent, and it doesn't mean that that's a good thing. It just means that teams have not been persistent enough to try Dallas on the ground, and these guys were, right? They ran the ball 76% of the time, so we got 49 rushes versus the 15 passes in the air, and they really just challenged Dallas to say, hey, if you want to really come out here and stop us, stop us, and they weren't able to do so. Offensively, there was just a lack of execution. I think they had some effectiveness on the ground game. That is Dallas. But they just were not in a position to stick with that because of the score.
It's about being hard-headed and stubborn when you go on the road. You have to have great run defense. Mozzie has to show up. Neville Gallimore has to show up. Clark, our linebackers, they have to show up. You are the guys that are primarily who we're looking for. Now, they ran the ball everywhere, inside, outside, and basically anywhere they wanted to. But these 3 or 4 guys have to be focused in what they're doing, and they have to get the rest of the guys to go along. Alignment and assignment is called do your job. You
bring up a great point. This is a team that's built around defense, and this defense struggled slowing down the run. 266 rushing yards allowed against the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen only threw the ball 15 times. If you would have taken that into the week, I think everybody would have said, how much did the Cowboys win by? That wasn't the case because they struggled so much on the ground. How is that something they can move past?
Well, I think it really just starts with, obviously, lane integrity, the assignments that you have up front. So there's a vacancy without Big Hankins up front, but you can still fulfill your job. It's just you have to make sure that you stay in your lane. Linebackers have to be decisive and deliberate in their approach to try to go out there and shoot those lanes. If you have any kind of hesitation, which they showed last week, then all of a sudden you get the big boys up on you. And once the big boys up on you like Big Nate, then they're going to move you all the way to the Gatorade buckets.
Simple. Tackle. Tackle, tackle. That is what it came down to. You did not tackle well at all.
Yeah, if you can find a way to tackle, it'll certainly help things out. On the offensive side, Nate, where do you want to see them take a step up? Because they didn't have their best day either.
For 8 weeks, I said it will come. Tony Pollard is the key. Throw it to him, toss it to him. Any way you can give it to him, give the ball to Tony Pollard.
Yeah, 13 touches last game is just obviously not enough. 11 on the ground, 2 receptions. They have to find a way to get the ball in his hands more frequently, but it comes down to, again, execution and your ability to be able to give Dak some time. I don't think Dak had time, nor was he ever comfortable in the backfield this most recent game, so he had some happy feet. We saw some bad characteristics kind of, rear their ugly head. In regards to that, they just have to get back to their complimentary ball and make him comfortable back there so he can deliver the good rock.
And you could argue that the play calling went simplistic, too. When Zach Martin left the game in the second quarter, T.J. Bass filled in, did a nice job in limited snaps, but even then, there's not a whole lot you can do without your big right guard in there playing at a high level. But when we come back, we talk about some of these issues and how the Cowboys can move forward with them. We take a look at really the way that Dak Prescott and company can flip this on its head and get you ready for the playoffs.
Special Edition, presented by AT&T, is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Reliant, official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com, make your crypto play today. And by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by the NFL Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan.
I think home or away, I think it's important to win. It's December football, like I said earlier, probably a couple weeks ago. It's December football. This is where you separate yourselves, winning is one of the most important things right now.
Jake Ferguson knows the importance of winning games on the road, especially late in an NFL season. Welcome back into Special Edition. Let's talk about this Cowboys 3-4 on the road compared to 7-0 at home. Their final 3 games, 2 of which away from AT&T Stadium. And if they don't win those games, you're going to have to win some road games come playoff time after clinching a playoff spot last week. How imperative is it this week for the Cowboys to get rid of some of those road woes?
Yeah, they need to figure that out ASAP. And I know a lot of people are trying to put their finger on what the reason is. They're not playing well at home versus away. They're saying, is it their sleeping environment? Do they have their favorite pillow with them? It's none of that, okay? Playing on the road, the things that you have to take into account is environment, right? The road noise and your communication. Those are the only 2 things that are different. And you have to have a greater aptitude to be able to overcome adversity on the road because of momentum swings. Outside of that, it is the game of football, and that's what I hope the Dallas Cowboys figure out, that you have to go out here and hit teams in the mouth. You don't want to put yourself where you're behind the 8 ball because, again, that momentum, the crowd noise, all that stuff starts to play a factor whenever you're on the road.
Lack of communication, you don't know what to do. Now you make a bad play. Now you have a bad penalty. I'll agree with you 100%. The lack of communication is what's killing these guys. Sometimes the coaches have to simplify the defense or simplify the offense. Go with your best plays on the road to execute. All you need to win is by 1 point. It don't have to be nothing special, just 1 point.
How much does the road woes rely on the shoulders of Dak Prescott? Maybe communication-wise, preparation-wise. Has he done enough on the road to build your confidence?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's okay on the road. I just think collectively they're not overcoming that adversity. And I don't want to point at one player. It's just holistically as a team, they're not answering the call when they get behind the 8 ball on the road.
Yeah, and they're going to have to take their talents on the road down to South Beach in Miami this week because they've got the Dolphins on the horizon in Week 16. When we come back, we talk about the challenge at hand for this Dallas Cowboys team and how do they turn things around on the road down in Florida.
This segment was brought to you by the NFL Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan. This segment is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.
Speed, and more speed. That's exactly what the Miami Dolphins bring to the table, and we're going to talk about it here over these next 2 segments. Back here with Isaiah Stanback and Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Isaiah, when you look at this team, it's all built around Tua Tagovailoa, and the way that he plays the quarterback position, it's built on trust. How much does he trust the guys around him, and how much do they trust him to get the job done?
Well, their entire offense trusts Coach McDaniels, first of all. That's where it starts with. But then obviously it goes straight to Tua. And Tua's ability to sit in the pocket confidently and comfortable because of the lack of pressure that's being placed on him is absolutely everything. These guys get the ball out of their hands quicker than anybody else in the league, just over 2 seconds. And the reason why that works for them is because their receivers are so fast. You know, their 2 seconds is not the same as anybody else's 2 seconds. You know, they're the Tyreek Hill and Waddle, Jalen Waddle, their ability to get down the field, they're 12 to 15 yards down the field in 2 seconds versus everybody else might be 5 or 6. So, I mean, their timing is absolutely everything, very much like Dallas. They just have faster weapons.
I tell you what, this kid is connected to his coach, Daniels. They're connected, they're linked, they're on the same page, they see the same things, and he gets that ball out of his hands with a great accuracy, man, whether it's short, long, intermediate. This guy, and for a guy that was beat up a lot last year, you're not seeing him leave the games this year. This guy is having a great season.
Well, and it also helps that he has the lowest pressure rate allowed in the entire NFL. They are getting the ball out quick, and his offensive line is doing a nice job. But let's talk about those weapons. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. When you look at the secondary of this Dallas Cowboys team, are they just sitting ducks this week?
I hope they're just sitting 20 yards deep. That's what I'm hoping they're sitting. Because a team, if you cut on the film, anybody who remotely tries to play a traditional form of coverage, you're going to get beat. If you try to sit your safeties at 12 to 15 yards, these guys get up on you again. Like we just said, they're going to be 12 to 15 yards deep in your secondary in the next 1.5 seconds. So you need to play 20, 25 yards deep. I know that sounds crazy, but this is what you need to do against these guys that have success. Have guys play deep, stay over the top, and run guys in underneath coverage underneath their routes. And then hopefully you can limit them on their big plays. They don't want to be patient.
The limited times I've played tackle, where you play a lot of great athletes. I never wanted to stop my feet from moving. When I stopped my feet from moving, it was always to come forward and to punish someone. Don't let your feet stop as a corner. You got to mirror these guys, but your feet cannot get settled in the ground because these guys got ability to just fly by you with double moves, or they'll go across the field. Those crossing routes will kill you. So you have to be on the move and always thinking and know where your help is at.
How much do you keep that same mindset with what they have in the backfield at the running back position?
When it comes to these guys, you have to do the opposite of what you did last week against Buffalo. You have to be decisive. You have to be aggressive. You have to be physical. You got to come downhill, choose your gaps, and go. And let your guys play off of whatever decision that you make, right, wrong, or indifferent. But you guys have to be on the same page, because if you take a bad angle, angles don't matter, okay? I don't care what math class you took. Angles don't matter in this game. You have to come up and initiate contact near the line of scrimmage, because if they get going at all, it's a wrap.
Both Achane and Mostert in the top 10 of running backs this year in terms of ground speed when carrying the football. Nate, on the defensive side, who are some of the guys that are going to cause problems for the Cowboys offense?
Wilkerson, I hope I'm saying his name right, number 94. This guy is fantastic versus the run and versus the pass. This guy will get out there. I think he has 8 sacks. And then you have Zach Zeller, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his name right, number 92. He has 7 sacks. These guys like to get a lead and turn those guys loose on you. And by the way, they got a guy named Bradley Chubb that's got 9 sacks. So, hey, 48 sacks complete. You got to go after these guys.
And you said all of this without even mentioning Jalen Ramsey on the outside. He's one of the best corners in football, and he's going to go up against C.D. Lamb. When we come back, though, we're going to talk about the Cowboys going up against this offense and how they can slow down the Dolphins' speed. Isaiah Stanback gives us a look inside the film of Tyreek Hill when we return.
This segment was brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.
Yeah, he's probably one of the best receivers in the league. Once he gets the ball in his hands, he's hard to tackle. And obviously, he's probably the fastest player in the league. So it's definitely going to be a big challenge for us, but I think we'll be ready.
There's nothing quite like NFL speed, and in the NFL, there's nothing quite like Tyreek Hill speed. This Miami Dolphins team can turn it into an extra gear just as soon as they can complete a pass. And we're going to talk about that through the film in the All-22. We've got Isaiah Stanback, Super Bowl champion, Emmy Award-winning analysis, and we're going to give some of that analysis here. Let's take a look at Tyreek Hill first off. What makes him so dangerous other than just the speed?
Well, the fact that these guys get the ball out of their hands so quickly. They want Tua to get the ball out of his hands in 2.1 seconds. Coach McCarthy's asking Dak to get it out of his hands in 2.5. These guys are getting it out their hands in 2.1. And on top of that, Coach McDaniels is doing one heck of a job of teaching the receivers and the running backs, all the skill position guys, what is in coverage and how to beat these coverages. Here's an example right here against the Raiders, okay? I'm going to go ahead and highlight Mr. Hill. Okay, there he is right there, okay? And right off the back, these guys are going to recognize that this is going to be cover 3. They're trying to make it look like a cover 2 with these guys sitting up here, safety back, but they're going to have a little bit of rotation. They're trying to confuse the Miami Dolphins. What's going to end up happening is this safety's going to roll down, this safety's going to drop back, and you're going to see Tyreek Hill try to take advantage of this cover 3 coverage of these 5 guys really underneath. Let's go ahead and see it happen. Boom, ball snap, pause it right there. All right, right off the back, okay? I want you guys to pay attention to it. He's sitting back here. He has an extremely large pocket. Why? Well, because the ball was just snapped literally 2 seconds ago, and now Tyreek Hill is running underneath this flat coverage. You got 1 guy, 2 guys. You have another guy dropping underneath, another guy here, another guy there. So you have coverage underneath, but Tyreek Hill is paying attention to 1 man and 1 man only. That man is this flat defender. As soon as he clears that flat defender, he is going to run his route literally right behind him. You see his head snap around. Now the ball is going to be driven to him. Okay, you're going to see the ball come out hot. Boom. Boom, right there. Now I want you guys to pay attention what happens with the ball in his hands. How many guys are around him? Pause it right there. 1, 2, 3, 4 guys. If you want to throw him in here, here's a 5th guy that can have an angle as well.
If you really wanted to go at it, you could say 6, 7, 8.
Yeah,
too,
exactly.
if you really wanted to.
Exactly. So if you want to do that, but then once he has the ball in his hand off a very easy pass, now it's just straight gas, no brakes. There's a reason why his nickname is Cheetah. But let's go ahead and put it in regular speed, not fast forward, and show you guys exactly what is going on. If we can run it back one time, I just want to highlight it again. Boom, there it is. Woo, and then he just, that is how dangerous this man is. He doesn't need the ball to be pushed all the way down the field. You're talking about a 5 or 6 yard pass right here. He gets it in his hands, and if you don't take the right angle, he's going to make you pay.
Yeah, you got the Miami Grand Prix for Formula One right outside this building in May. Not so much. You got to wait. You don't have to wait very long to see the speed from Tyreek Hill and getting off to the races. But he's not the only one on that offense that has the speed.
No.
Who else can bite you?
Well, their whole running back committee, okay? You got Raheem Mostert, and you also have Achane, who's their backup, and that's what we're going to be looking at right here. This is their backup running back. I'm going to say it again, Kyle. Their backup running back.
Not the starter.
Not the starter.
Not Raheem Mostert.
No, not Raheem Mostert. He's not even the fastest running back, but you guys are going to see exactly how explosive and fast he is here. These guys do a great job in terms of the running game and their blocking up front, giving these guys just simply an open window to go ahead and hit it and get open, okay? Boom. You're going to see the blocks coming down right here. These guys are going to do a good job of coming downhill, knocking guys off, working up to the linebackers. He's going to reach block, okay? He's going to keep his man out, and then you see this extra man coming off the edge right here, okay? That's going to be responsible by this tight end. He's going to come across and kick back. So now all he's looking for is a little bit of a seam. Let's go ahead and see it play out. You see the motion come across, boom, goes backside, pause it right there, okay? Keeping him out, keeping him out. All right, he's looking for work. He's cutting off backside. No, he's cutting off backside, cutting off backside. Right now, you have to, I repeat, as a defender, you have to take this and shoot the gap. You cannot wait. You have to be able to shed your block, shoot the gap right here. You have to be very decisive because as we play it through, but maybe a half second forward, pause it. That is all he needs. His vision right now is simply where? He was pressing the hole, now he's taking it where? Now he's taking it up this way. As a second level, third level defender, you have to now do what? Go, 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 take the angle, go. Do not wait because what? Even though you're 5 yards in front of him, beep, beep, it doesn't matter. I am Achane and I am faster than you are. All gas, no brakes. That is the close-up angle. Let's watch it from the wide angle. Again, highlighting the man in the backfield. Let's watch it play out. I want you guys to see it. We're going to pause it right as the blocks are taking place. Boom, pause it right now. Right now, we just talked about the seam that is available. He's looking where? Here, and he's taking it up here. Then let's watch the angles. The secondary guys, you have to shoot. Shoot. Shoot your shot. Shoot your shot. If you don't, this is what happens.
He runs away from everybody.
Everybody has angles. Angles, 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 angles. Nobody makes a decisive move, so what does he do? All right, let's put it in 6th gear. I'm faster than every single one of you guys. I don't care what angles you have. I don't care what math class you took. They didn't account for this speed. That is the second running back in the backfield. Raheem Mostert is even faster than he is somehow, some way. You have to account for their speed, and you have to be decisive. Coach used to always tell us back in the day, if you choose right, if you go 100 miles per hour, I don't care if you choose wrong. Just be decisive because your players that are behind you need to know what you're doing. You can't get caught in between because if you're caught in between, then my feet stop. If my feet stop, I can't catch up with that.
You get caught leaning, they're going to be leaving. That's what's going to end up happening for this defense. If they do not make those decisions early, they're going to be in a world of trouble against the speed of this Miami team. When we come back, one of those defenders, Micah Parsons, might be the key to victory here in Week 16. What do the guys think are the keys to the game when we return?
Special edition, presented by AT&T, was brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. And by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
It's the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins, 3:25 kickoff this week on Fox. It's Christmas Eve, and of course, happy holidays from our family to yours. We've got Isaiah Stanback, Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Isaiah, your keys to a Christmas Eve win.
All right, I got my keys out, and my key for today's game, or this week's game, is going to be don't allow any more than one play of 30 yards or more on the defense side of the ball. You can't let these guys get off and running.
Don't matter who's in there on the defensive front four, you have to stop the run and you have to concentrate because these guys lead the league at 139, 5.1 yards per average. Stop the run.
Got to stop the run, keep them contained. That just sounds like a common theme this week. No presence for this Miami Dolphins offense. For Isaiah, Nate, and our entire crew, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Happy holidays. We'll see you next week.